the Evergreen Enrollment Engine. This is where you take all of those assets that you've created, right? We just talked about them, the email sequence, the presentation, whether you call it a masterclass or webinar or workshop or free class, whatever you want to call it. And then those pages, right? The sales page, the opt-in page, the thank you page, all that stuff. This is where we take all those core elements and we automate them into an Evergreen engine that runs year round in between all your live promos and on top of all your live promos. Okay. Now, the word evergreen gets thrown around a lot. I think it gets, people misunderstand it. I think people overcomplicate it. I think people sometimes don't know exactly what I'm talking about. So Evergreen Funnel is just a fancy way of saying an automated system that sells your courses and programs year round, every day in a strategic way. Okay? Super simple when we think about it like that. Just a way for you to sell your programs year round, every day, right? Now, an evergreen funnel is both, evergreen refers to both a sales system and a delivery system, right? Because we also need new clients and students to be able to enroll anytime and then onboard seamlessly into your course, into your crew, your group or community, into your coaching program, and get the solution to the problem right when they need it most. So not only is Evergreen talking about like a automated sales funnel, but it's also talking about the system for like, is your program ready to accept people into the community and into the group and into the program, like the automations for that side as well, right? So that when someone buys your program on automation without you doing anything, that they also can get like added and access to everything as well. So going evergreen and building that Evergreen engine, what we call, other people call it a funnel, we call it this Evergreen engine. It's how you break out of the exhausting launch cycle that you might be stuck in now, okay? Going evergreen is how we escape that feast and famine revenue roller coaster and create consistency in your business, okay? This is the difference between a real business that grows, right? Versus winging it with a string of promotions that you really hope works. How many of you have been there, right? Tell me in the chat if you've been there where you're like, my business actually is just like a string of random promotions that I'm like really hoping it works out. Yes, right? And we've all been there, right? This is actually an important transition. This is an important transition that all businesses go through where you kind of change from being like, I'm just kind of doing random stuff and hoping that I make money next month versus I have a repeatable, consistent system in place. Like I know what to expect. I can project my revenue, that kind of thing. Okay. So that's kind of where you become like a real business there. So this is what the feast and famine revenue roller coaster looks like, right? Oh my gosh, the ups and downs. And the reason I think they call it the revenue roller coaster is because it makes you feel kind of sick to your stomach, right? How many of you have been there where like you're looking at your income and you're like, oh my gosh, oh, here we go. Oh no, it's zero, right? Like this kind of makes you feel sick to your stomach a little bit. So much anxiety. And the thing about this is that I think what's kind of insidious about this and where people get stuck is that it's not that you're not making money. It's just that the way of it is very stressful, right? Like unnecessarily stressful. So I think people get stuck here because like, well, I am making money. Like, it's not like I'm not making any money, right? Like we've got these spikes of revenue, but it's just the way that it's happening maybe isn't how you want to continue running your business, right? So people get stuck there because it's this vicious cycle of like, I just made a lot of money. Okay, now there's zero. Okay, got to do it again. So people get stuck. Whereas this is our approach. So our approach is this more slow and steady growth over months to months, where you're adding in strategies. Basically, our whole thing is that you layer in one new strategy at a time. You level up when you add that strategy. You learn how to maintain and calibrate at that new strategy and at that new income level, and then you level up again. So it would have been really easy for me to just show you like a hockey stick growth here, right? Like how many people are just going to show you like, boom, like hockey stick, like it just goes up super high forever, right? But what we found, a much more sustainable way to build your business where you can actually maintain it and grow it, is that these little leaps and then these little plateaus are on purpose. They actually are there for a reason, where you add a new strategy, which causes a little level up into the next income amount, your next kind of like revenue level. Then there's a little bit of a plateau for a month or two while you learn how to maintain and calibrate to that new level, right? That becomes your new normal, but you usually have to calibrate to that and get some of the systems in place so that it's all like set to maintain there. Then you can add in another little strategy. Maybe it's a new traffic source. Maybe it's a new sales strategy. Maybe you add a little optimization to your Evergreen funnel, but then you add that little thing and you go up to the next level. You learn how to maintain it and systematize it. You get to add another little optimization to your funnel, and then you go from there. Does that make sense? Where I'm not just showing you a hockey stick of like, and your revenue just shot up forever. I want to show you the reality of like sustainable growth, healthy growth that layers in, like you level up, you layer in a strategy, you maintain, you learn how to calibrate to that, and then okay. Yes, everyone in the chat is saying, this is beautiful. I get it. I see it. Okay. So it's intentional. Like we build in for a little bit of maintenance mode. We want to build in for a little bit of like recalibrating to your new normal of like, this is my new minimum monthly revenue before I like layer in some new strategy or optimization in my funnel. And then it's going to go up again. Cool. Oh my gosh, look at some client wins here. So this is what I'm talking about when I talk about going evergreen, right? Kathy says, I set up a very basic funnel and in 2 days, I got 2 sales. This client says, I put my sales page live on Monday and I got 3 sales yesterday. This client says I got 9 sales, pretty darn happy with that. This client says, this is not to brag, but I made $29,000 in less than 2 weeks of passive